Welcome back to another episode of Durarara. So in the previous episode, we saw basically Kida's backstory and showing why he is or how he started the Yellow Scarves, why he quit them and stuff like that. So we also saw the entire Saki story with him, and we saw that he kind of feels extremely guilty for what happened to her for good reasons. And he is obviously trapped in a bit of a predicament because he finds it very tough to obviously deal with that guilt. He is like a high schooler. He's like 15, 16, whatever, right? So he's trying to run away from the guilt, but also is feeling the guilt. So he's having trouble dealing with the entire situation. And yeah, that was really interesting. And I like how Izaya basically said that if someone has full control over your past, they are basically a deity to you. So kind of equating Saki to a deity for Kida, because she's basically controlling his entire past and in turn controlling him as a human, which is kind of interesting. You know, that was a wild comparison. But also on the other side of things, you had the Van group, the Van Dollar group, who was like, you know what? You can run away from the past, but don't run away from the present and the future, which kind of feels like the polar opposite of what Izaya said. And I also really like that. I really like that saying as well. And also, at the end of the episode, we saw that Anri saw Kida actually being in the Yellow Scarves. Now, how much did she see? Did she actually see that he was the boss of them, or did she just see that he was there in the meeting? I mean, he looked like the boss. He was like the highest up, like he had the high ground, like almost like a throne chair. So I don't know how much she saw from that one glimpse, but the Yellow Scarves were tracking her down and trying to find her. So let's see what exactly is gonna happen now. Is Anri gonna be having even more answers? It feels like she's definitely the person with the most information, right? She knows about Izaya, and now she saw Kida, so she knows a lot. The only thing that she doesn't know explicitly is the dollar situation. So if she gets this information, that's gonna be big for her. But I guess we'll find out. Anyways, if you want to watch this, Uncut Bird, as always, on Patreon down in the description. And let's go into Durarara, episode 19. Oh, we're going straight into the end of the previous episode. Cameraman, hello? She saw him like basically in the throne, so I wonder how much he's gonna put together. The thing is, good hiding place. The Blue Dynasty is dead? Wait, okay, so a few things. First of all, she has the memories, or she got memories or access to memories of all of the people that turn into her offsprings, right? Which means that if even one of them was part of the Yellow Scarves, she would, because the Yellow Scarves, the way that their entire hierarchy is formed, they know the leader. At least most of them, I'm guessing, they know who the leader is and who the leader was, right? Unlike the dollars. So if she had the memories of even one of the Yellow Scarves, then she would know that it's Kida. Now, to be fair, she only has like a bit over 100 people as her offsprings, which, compared to how many people there are in Ikebukuro, I'm guessing that none of them were Yellow Scarves. Because the chances would be actually pretty low that one of them would be Yellow Scarves. But if she did get one of them, then she would know for sure that it's Kida who's the leader. The other thing that I was gonna say, which is completely unrelated to this entire situation here, is I was thinking about Saki and how her hair color was like very bright before being admitted to the hospital, and now it's very dark. And I was thinking about it. That's why initially I didn't think that Saki, or the girl from the opening, which was called Saki, was the same person as the one in the hospital because of the hair color. But I thought about it, and then I came to the conclusion that obviously her hair was just dyed before, and now that she's in the hospital, she couldn't re-dye it, right? Obviously, so that's why it's darker now. That's my guess, right? That makes sense. We jumped back. I guess we're gonna be explaining why she even went there.
切り裂き魔事件はあの世以来パタリとやみ、町は平静を取り戻していた。その原アンリにとっても何事もない日常が戻ってくるはずだった。
Sure.
園原さん、よかった。間に合った。委員会で遅くなっちゃって。
龍ヶ峰くん。
明日から登校するって聞いたけど、大丈夫なの？
はい、もう平気です。
荷物持つよ。
いえ、大丈夫です。
持たしてやんなよ。それが持ちたくて帝くんは猛ダッシュしてきたんだからさ。アンリ、こいつ朝から何遍俺に言ったと思う？園原さん今日退院だよね。明日登校して大丈夫かな？アンリってエロ可愛いよね。最後のは言ってない？
龍ヶ峰くんも木田くんも何度もお見舞いに来てくれて。
I love how much more expressive she's becoming.
そういえば正臣、さっき病院から出てきたよね。ちょうど入れ違っちゃってね。そうだ。
Interesting.
休んでた間の授業のノート、僕のでよかったら貸すけど。字が汚くて。
Is this Saki's room?
かもしれないけど、それでもよければ使って。ちょっと待ってね。確か今日できてた。
She noticed them. Yeah.
何か違う。
少女は少年に漠然とした違和感を感じていた。少年が初めて病室を訪れた時から。
Oh.
はい、これで大丈夫。木田くん。
アンリ。どうして？
大したことないんです。ちょっと切り裂き魔に。でも本当全然大したことない。
The PTSD.
ごめん、野暮用できちゃった。姫をお家へ送る役目はプリンス帝に譲ってあげよう。この先100年チャンスはないと思え。じゃあな。明日ね。
そうして得体の知れない不安が彼女を包む。
俺が行くまでそいつらに勝手な真似させるな。いいな。最近黄金族の人たちがますます増えましたね。本当ですよね。はっきりと姿が見える分、ダラーズより目立ってますよね。
あの連中昔からいますけど、最近なんか変わってきてるような。
変わってきてる？
よくわからないんですけど、昔の黄金族と違うというか、なんか昔より暴力的になってるような気がします。
さやかさん、こんばんは。
こんばんは。いらっしゃい。こんばんはです。すみません。
なんで謝るんですか？最初の時はネットに慣れてなかったから、ウイルスとかに引っかかってあんなことになったんですよね。それじゃしょうがないですよ。
すみません。すみません。
Did Izaya get her to join? Or, I mean, she's always been a part, I guess.
黄色い布の人たちですか？
そう、それです。もう一つ、ダラーズっていうよく似た集団があるんですけどね。その2つの組織が、この前の切り裂き魔事件のせいで、今いろいろと危ない状況なんですよ。
どういうことですか？よしましょうよ、カンナさん。詳しく知らない人にいきなりそんな話しても。
いえ、池袋に住んでるんなら知ってなくっちゃ。この間の切り裂き魔事件、結局犯人捕まってないじゃないですか。で、黄金族にもダラーズにも被害者が出てるんですけどね。どうもお互いがお互いを犯人だと思ってるっぽいんですよね。ダラーズの方はそんなにこだわってないみたいですけど、お互いのことをよく分かってないんで誤解もあるんだと思います。何にせよ、切り裂 崎間の真犯人が両方の手でリンチにでも合わないと、このままいったら池袋に血の雨が降りますよ。怖い。
This dude is really
構想
such an instigator. But the interesting thing is... Oh, wait. I'm gonna wait until this
アンリ
ends.
ちゃんが気にすることないよ。連中が勝手に暴走してるだけだから。
She knows.
真犯人でもないアンリちゃんが自首とかしても関係ないから。謝っちゃダメだよ。今の警察は本当におっかないから。本当におっかないから。
I love that
本
gag.
当に怖いからね。特に後期は。すみません。ありがとうございます。あ、そっか。内緒モードのやり方は今度詳
Ah,
しく教えて。
she sent it to the wrong chat.
すいません。私今日はこれで。
あ、はい。さやかさん、お疲れ様でした。おやす。どうも。
Okay, whoa. There's a lot happening here. That's a lot of things happening in the same breath here. So, okay. First of all, that Saika that we saw in there, well, we saw that one of them was most... Haruna was definitely in the group chat as well, right? Was Haruna the one that was spamming always? And then I'm guessing Sonohara kind of took her account? Or Sonohara just created... Because we did see, well... Because I couldn't imagine Sonohara actually being the one who was spamming all of the things earlier, right? And they said, obviously, the entire thing with the virus is a cover-up for what happened. I feel like that was Haruna's account and Sonohara just took it, right? As her own. That would make sense. That would make the most sense. The interesting thing is, Celty knows way more than I thought she knows about Sonohara and about the slasher. Obviously, it does make sense that... Well, I don't think Izaya even knows about Anri, right? Not that we know, at least. Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't know about Anri. At least we don't know if he knows. But yeah, as I said, I find it interesting that Celty knows this much about her. Okay, and now she also is part of the dollars because she... I mean, I feel like if you have access to the chat room, then it's fair to assume that you're part of the dollars, right? Okay. That's interesting.
じゃあ、私もそろそろ落ちますね。
では、また。お疲れ様でした。カンナさん、切り裂き魔の件。なんか分かったら知らせる。格安でね。この町のどこかに真犯人がいるはずです。早く捕まってくれれば、黄金族とダラーズの間の誤解も解けると思うんですけど。
He obviously doesn't know, Mikado.
そう簡単にいくかな。黄金族もダラーズも一枚岩じゃないからね。私利私欲に走って抗争って名目でカツアゲとかする奴らも出るだろうし。このまま進めば本当の抗争になるだけさ。そんなことさせませんよ。どうかな。もう止められないんじゃないかな。黄金族の方は君には止めようがないしね。それでもさせません。楽しみにしてるよ。
なんとかしなければ身の内に一振りの妖刀を宿す少女は思う。なんとかしなければ額縁を通して世界を見てきた少女は思う。しかし
That is a guy, man.
額縁を越えて彼女の世界を訪れてくれた少年はすでに捕らえられていた。自らの過去という
Oh, okay. Okay, I was like, he was restrained? Okay, yeah.
彼はもう逃れられない。
Hmm.
もしもし。あ、そう。わかった。ほんじゃすぐ行くわ。悪い。友達がなんか急用あるっつうからさ。あ、そうなの？恨むなら俺の友達を好きなだけ恨んでくれ。恨むならただだし、俺には被害がない。まさに一石二鳥。一夫多妻だからな。一夫多妻？じゃあまた明日なー。
And this is probably where
そんなに急ぎの用事なのかな。
キダ君、最近ちょっと
we're gonna be seeing Sonohara somehow getting to the Yellow Scarves hideout.
あ、ごめんなさい。
Here it is.
私ちょっと用があるので。じゃあ。
ダラーズのメンバーが高金属にカツアゲされたんだってな。ああ、なんか間一髪で死人が出るとこだったらしいぜ。高金属は切り裂き魔はダラーズの仕業だって言ってるけどな。
このままではいけない。ダラーズを率いる少年には分かっていた。しかし彼はまだ自らも駒の一つ
Oh, 100%. Like a pawn on a chessboard? That's an interesting terminology. You know what? I was also gonna say, I find it really interesting how Kida and Sonohara both have these really heavy pasts almost, right? And they are both doing something out of like some kind of traumatic experience in their past and stuff like that. And they're both carrying like big scars. Whereas Mikado kind of feels like he's just doing something because he's bored, right? He feels like he's doing something for the sake of it. And that can obviously be a motivator, but also I feel like there's a big difference in motivation and in perseverance, I guess, when it comes to if you're fueled by like actual past experience and trauma, or if you're fueled by boredom, right? To be fair, Izaya also kind of seems like he would be fueled by boredom. So Izaya and Mikado are actually low-key kind of similar, or at least they can be. We don't know enough about Izaya to fully distinguish that. But yeah, it seems like Kida and Sonohara are definitely way different in like aspirations, motivations, and stuff like that to Mikado, even though they're all like three leaders of like three opposing sides, right? That's one thing that I was thinking about a lot.
出前取るとコサックダンス踊ってくれるって本当っすかね。
けど、ゆうべの子たち、サイモンが出前に出ててついてたね。
Oh.
振り下ろしたらなんか寿司のネタになるね。人間寿司。言いたいしまずいね。好きってのはそうは続かないもんだ。
Kida. Masaomi.
たく、嫌な雲行きだぜ。
They know him. They know him very well. Yep, this is it.
誰か、高金属とダラーズのことを知っている人はいます
Dude, the animators. Oh man, they had priorities.
木田正臣です。母さんと一緒にいるのも見たことがあります。母さんの大事な友達の敵を取るんだと言ってました。
This is what I was saying. Okay.
もちろん彼女には信じられない。
Dude, she's actually utilizing her ability a lot more than I thought she would.
つくことはできない。
木田君は、
今日集会に来ます。
その集会に案内してください。
そうして
She's so proactive.
彼女は全てを知った。
木田君が、
この奥じゃねえかな。
逃げなければ。
どうして
No. Don't lose to Saika.
捕まったらどうなるんだろう。
Oh no. Wait, I didn't even think about this.
誰も傷つけたくない。
I'm gonna talk about this later.
少年に知られてしまう。少女はその恐怖におののく。
狭くて無理ですね。俺が行く。
木田君。助けて。誰か、助けて。
Celty.
雨の中に佇むのはデュラハルの女。追い詰められた少女にただ一つできたことは、自分と同じこの世に存在しないはずのものに助けを求めることだけだった。
あいつバイクで塀を乗り越えてきたんですけど。あいつならあり得る。動くぞ。
She's so cool.
セルティさん。事情は後でね。逃げるよ。後ろに。
Do you have a hood? Put the hood on. Or this works as well.
ありがとうございます。しっかり捕まってね。
昔から見かけてるけどさ、そのライダースーツの線、ちょっと男にしちゃ細すぎると踏んでたんだよね。男ならどうでもいいけど、女ならそのライダースーツだけでも愛せるよ。俺、アマさん愛せば今朝まで愛す。
こいついつもミカドやアンリと一緒。
Yep, 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 yep.
なるほど。こいつに顔を見られたくないと。事情はわからないが、了解だ。
Good job, Celty. You're the goat. That's so sick.
その姿はまさに伝説の首なし騎士。
Psycho! So wonder, is Celty the only one who knows about Psycho?
情報の断片が統合される。
And
指
Haruna.
先魔のような刃を握った侵入者、それを助けに来た黒バイク。そして黒バイクはダラーズだという噂。
1 plus 1.
一つの結論に至る。
The slasher is in the dollars. Yep.
少年は自分の結論が正しいのかどうかわからない。ただ確かなことは、彼がどう考えようと、この事態を体験した仲間たちをもはや制することはできないということだ。
なあ、デュラハンって知ってるか？知らないっす。これから死ぬ奴の家を訪れる。首なし馬に乗った首なしの騎士なんだってよ。まあ、死神みたいなもんだ。
少年はふと思う。自分たちの中で誰かが死ぬのかもしれない。
どうしてこんな時に先に会いたいなんて。
蒼天すでに死す。空は死んだ。それは三国志の中で黄金族が立ち上がった時の旗印だという。
確かに青くない。まあ黄色くもないけどな。
こんばんはっと。太郎さんだけですか？
こんばんは。そうみたいですね。
いきなり内緒モードですか？
ちょっと聞きたいことがあって。黄金族ってずっと以前から池袋にいたんですか
？3年前くらいからですよ。最初はおとなしい集団だったんですけどね。
ダラーズを率いる少年は黄金族とブルースクエアの忌まわしい構想をし、
Yes, the Blue Squares, the Blue
その
Dynasty.
生贄となった少女が親友のかつての恋人だとも知らぬまま、そして語って聞かせるその男が少女の心を支配し、
Yeah, okay, he was manipulating
親
her.
友に対して癒ぬ傷を刻印したとも知らぬまま。
じゃあ結局、黄金族だけど。
ところが、ブルースクエアは死んじゃいなかったのさ。
どういうことですか？
黄金族のリーダーが構想に嫌気がさしてチームを離れた後、彼らは黄金族に入り込んだ。
つまり合併したってことですか？
単純に言えばね、互いの組織に誰がいたかなんてリーダー格の人間を除けばいちいち調べたりしないだろうからね。青い服を脱いで、あとは黄金族に入りたいですって言えばそれで OK なだけさ。
でもそれって辞めたリーダーの人は。
知らないだろうね。自分の恋人を病院送りにした連中が昔の自分の仲間とつるんでるなんて。君も気をつけなよ。ダラーズと黄金族を掛け持ちしてるやつもいるみたいだから。
だからこそ、僕らが関わりないってことをダラーズの中に回せば、その人が黄金族に伝えてくれるかもしれません。
本当にダラーズの仕業じゃなければね。ダラーズに規則はないし、君も全員の行動を管理してるわけじゃない。君の知らないところでダラーズの一部が切り裂き魔になっているのかもしれないよ。つまりそれがダラーズのシステムさ。このまま君がこっち側に来るつもりなら、その辺は覚悟しておいた方がいい。
肝に銘じておきます。
So, okay, a few things. How much Yeah, a few things. So Mikado doesn't even know that Saika is the actual slasher, right? I'm pretty sure he doesn't. I'm pretty sure Celty and Izaya, I'm guessing Izaya knows that Saika is the slasher, but he doesn't know that that's Anri. But Celty is the only one who knows both of the pieces of information, that it is the slasher and also it is Anri. And Mikado doesn't know either of those parts, or either of those informations. Okay, interesting. The other part that I was gonna say earlier was, I didn't even think about how the reason why Anri was able to resist Saika so much is because of her detachment from emotion, like any kind of emotion, more or less, right? It's because of her entire trauma and her being able to suppress almost her humanity. But now it feels like her humanity is coming back, and I wonder if that's gonna make her more susceptible to Saika and less resistant, I guess, to Saika's temptations and stuff like that. And I wonder if it's gonna take more and more control over her the more that she becomes more and more integrated into like normal human emotional state, you know? Because we can see her getting more and more emotional, more and more emotive, I should say, not emotional, more and more emotive, and more, you know, it feels like she's definitely becoming, like regaining some of the normality that she has lost during the years of trauma. So I wonder if that's going to negatively affect that side of things. I wonder, yeah. The other thing is, so that is interesting how blue squares are now part of yellow squares or yellow scars, and Kida doesn't even know that because they are the people who hurt the girlfriend. Now, I do think that Kida, at the end of the day, the feeling that he's feeling the most is guilt towards Saki. I don't even think that he has that prolific of a feeling of wanting revenge over blue squares, but I do think that if he finds out that blue squares are somewhere still, he will try to take revenge on them because he's gonna think that it's gonna make him feel better, and he's gonna think that it's gonna satiate some of the guilt that he's feeling. But I don't think it's gonna be successful. But yeah, I feel like that's how his mind works, is right? Is in like he thinks that he can get rid of some of the guilt by getting revenge on the blue squares, but I don't think it's gonna work. But yeah, I do wonder how that's gonna play into the entire hierarchy of the yellow scars, especially considering the fact that the yellow scars are getting more and more violent, as they said. I wonder what's gonna happen there. It feels like that entire association is gonna be falling apart rapidly.
おはよう。おはようございます。どうしたの？なんか元気ないみたいだけど、体調まだ良くないんじゃ。そんなことないです。Is
that the dollars guy?
あ、おはよう。さっき駅前で木田に会ったんだけど、今日休むからって。どうして？さあ、理由は言わなかったけど。そう。じゃあ、ありがとう。マサオミは過去から逃げられないよ。今悩んでるのだって、過去に絡んだことなんでしょ？逃げられないんなら戦って倒しちゃえばいいじゃん。お前との過去についても戦って正々堂々と話そう。
ただ居場所が欲しかった。新しい町のことを幼なじみの少年に伝えるために、町から借り物で着飾っている自分の存在に疑問を持った。今ならばわかる。かつて黄金族という集団の中で自分の帰るべき場所は、三ヶ島咲というただ一人の人間だけだったのだと。そして今は新しい居場所となった大切な友人のために動いている。
That's a slippery slope.
門田さん。
戻ったのか。
はい。ここじゃなんですから。
No. Okay. Okay. The reason why I said earlier that it's a slippery slope is because Kida is currently desperately looking for a place to belong, right? And I feel like that kind of state of mind is when a person is the most, what's the word? They're the most, not susceptible, but they're the most vulnerable to any kind of like, someone taking advantage of you, right? Trying to find a place where you belong is the breeding ground of every single toxic relationship. So that's why it's a slippery slope. I don't know what exactly is gonna happen, but I guess we'll see. we'll see where exactly that's gonna end up going, right? I don't think Saki is necessarily a bad person. She seems she is a bit weird, but also she seems pretty nice, right? Like the way that she talks about, oh, do you like me and stuff like that, she's very, I don't know, she was very quick to say, oh yeah, I like you. And you weren't sure whether she was being strung along by Izaya and how much she was being manipulated by Izaya. And also you can really tell how much she was actually like, how much she actually liked Kida. But it does feel like she definitely liked Kida or likes Kida, I think. I think it feels like it, but I'm not certain. As I said, I don't know how much of that is just the influence of Izaya and him plotting. Speaking of Izaya, God, it's so unsettling, right? It's so unsettling seeing him just smile about every single thing that happens, and just seeing how he has the entire situation under his, like, in his pinky finger, you know? He's manipulating everyone in the city. As I said, I do think that like, from what we've seen, we haven't seen him actually knowing the identity of Anri. But if Celty knows it, I wouldn't be too surprised if somehow Izaya also knows it. But I don't think he does. Yeah. Because that is the only piece of information right now that seems like would be a big variable against Izaya. And also, I don't think he knows that Anri knows about his entire plan, right? Because Anri knows that he is basically the big boss man of the entire city and he's playing the entire game in the shadows. And yeah, he doesn't know that she knows that. So I guess that's another variable that could be used. I don't even know if we're supposed to go against him because we don't actually know what his plan is, right? That's still the big thing about Izaya, is I have no idea what he's playing for. We know that he wants to create a battlefield to try to awaken Celty, but like, why? What's the point of that? Is it entertainment? Is it doesn't seem to be money. I feel like money could be acquired differently. Is it purely like a god a syndrome? Does he actually have like just a god syndrome and he just wants to play god? I don't know. Maybe he genuinely has like this kind of power trip. I don't know. I guess we'll see as time goes on, right? That's gonna be the main determiner of deciding on which side you're on, right? But yeah, it's also interesting seeing how the slasher and the dollar side of things is merging. But I do think that Anri isn't fully on the side of the dollars. She's just using the information from the dollars to get what she's interested in. But also, I don't think she's against the dollars, so that's fair enough. The dollars is kind of like a free-spirited group that doesn't really have any requirements. It isn't really like a side, per se, right? But yeah. On the other hand, the yellow Scarves are most definitely a side, and they're definitely taking a stance right now, especially with how violent they're getting. So that's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. As I said, like all of the things I said earlier are things that I'm interested in seeing, especially with Kida and his consciousness eating him up. So we'll see how it's going to end up going. Anyways, I'm going to end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Peace.